When it comes to protecting a country's most important person, they spare no expense. Today we'll be taking a look at some of the most advanced vehicles on Earth. Here are the top 15 most awesome presidential vehicles. Number 15. The Audi A8 LW12 Security. Being the head honcho of Germany is no easy task, and this is something that Angela Merkel knows all too well. After all, she's led the country since November of 2005, and while the job certainly has been tough, she's been able to have a stylish ride the entire time. That's because she's the proud owner of an Audi A8 LW12 Security. And while it may look slim and sleek, it's an absolute unit on the road, and it can not only defend against a barrage of heavy bullets, but can also protect Merkel from hand grenades, explosive charges, and noxious gases. This is further complemented by its bulletproof windows, which has an impressively sturdy thickness of 62 millimeters, and its complete set of aluminum body armor. Thus, as far as presidential vehicles go, few can match this awesome Audi. Number 14. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. While Mexico may not be known for being a particularly rich country, in 2014 its former president splashed some serious cash by buying the world's most expensive plane. Now, in the eyes of most aviation experts, it was a thing of beauty. After all, it not only could fit 250 passengers and fly for over 16,000 kilometers straight non-stop, but also had a high-scale main lounge, fake fireplaces, a master bedroom with a luxurious king-size bed, and several fully equipped bathrooms. Yet because this plane was rumored to cost anywhere between $215 and $600 million, this purchase didn't exactly sit well with ordinary Mexicans, as a large portion of the population lives in poverty and could really use a chunk of that money. As a result, current Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador is looking to sell the aircraft and donate the money to the people. However, as of yet, he's still been unable to find a suitable buyer. Number 13. The Medes-Benz S600. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan is certainly one of the more controversial world leaders out there. Yet despite his infamy, he's the proud owner of a Medes-Benz S600. Now, this vehicle has all the specs that a head of state could ever want or need, as it features a reinforced titanium body, 13-centimeter thick bulletproof doors, the ability to completely isolate itself from outside chemical attacks, and reinforced tires with internal steel cables. Thus, if someone were to try to do harm to Erdogan, they would almost certainly be unsuccessful in their attempt. Number 12. The Sultan of Brunei's car collection. At first glance, it may seem strange that the Sultan of Brunei makes it onto this list. After all, Brunei only has about 400,000 people, is relatively small in terms of its size, and isn't exactly the most influential Asian country out there. However, despite this, the country is very rich in oil, and as a result, Brunei's Sultan is extremely wealthy. And while most would hope that he would spend his money on the people, he most certainly has an eye for the finer things in life, and this has led him to amass a car collection that's over 7,000 vehicles strong, and that's worth an estimated combined value of over $5 billion. Now, it goes without saying that we can't list all of his cars in this video. However, some of the highlights of his collection include his 3 McLaren F1 LMs, 6 Ferrari Testarossa F90 Specials, and a one-of-a-kind Bentley Buccaneer. As such, we think you'd agree that the Sultan's vehicle collection is second to none. Number 11. The Konrad Adenauer. Put simply, Germany's government air fleet is nothing short of impressive, yet even amongst international competition, the Konrad Adenauer truly stands out. Named after the first Chancellor of West Germany, this $300 million plane is a beauty to behold. Now, on the practical side of things, it's a wonderful aircraft, and not only has the capacity to fly for 13,000 kilometers non-stop thanks to its added fuel tanks, it can also seat 143 and travel at a speed of 912 kilometers an hour. Yet, despite this efficiency, it's also quite luxurious, as it has multiple bedrooms, offices, and even a soundproof room. Thus, it goes without saying that Angela Merkel's government plane truly is top of the line. Number 10. The Hongqi L5. Chinese President Xi Jinping is certainly one of the more influential men on the planet, and thus it makes sense that his car is a top-of-the-line vehicle. And while car manufacturer Hongqi may not be familiar to those in the West, it is in fact one of China's premier luxury car brands. You see, Hongqi has a storied history of supplying the Chinese government with high-grade vehicles, as it was the car of choice for Chinese leader Mao Zedong and his party leaders throughout the 1970s and 80s. And while the brand began to fall out of favor in the 90s, Xi Jinping has nonetheless made the bulletproof Chinese-made Hongqi Red Flag limousine his vehicle of choice. Now, without any upgrades, the car comes in at a cost of about $800,000, but Xi Jinping's was certainly a lot more due to its extra special specifications. In particular, it has a powerful 4-liter V8 petrol engine, a chrome-dipped grille, and body armor that can withstand an impact of multiple types of bombs and bullets. And while this may be incredible in and of itself, most of the truly impressive features of the vehicle are kept top secret, as Xi Jinping doesn't exactly want the public to know too much about this secretive car. Therefore, while we can provide you with the basics, no one outside the Communist Party of China can really give you the entire picture. Number 9. The Jaguar XJ LWB Sentinel. As Prime Minister of Great Britain, Boris Johnson is nothing if not important, and his vehicle certainly reflects that. Known as the Jaguar XJ LWB Sentinel, it's the perfect blend of classiness and effectiveness, as it can securely get the Prime Minister to where he needs to go in style. Now, this custom-built armored vehicle features a powerful 5-liter V8 engine and sports a number of advanced security features such as 13mm explosive-resistant steel plate flooring, bulletproof polycarbonate hardened glass, Kevlar and titanium-fortified cabins, and run-flat tires. In the event of a biological or chemical attack, the interior can be completely isolated, as it has self-contained oxygen that can keep the Prime Minister safe in nearly every circumstance. Yet beyond the safety features, the car also has a number of more luxurious bells and whistles, these including heated and cooled rear massage seats, a 20-speaker Dolby 7.1 surround sound system, 2 HD televisions, and a state-of-the-art communication system for conference calls. As such, this English prime ministerial car is absolutely incredible. We're constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and hit the like button. Number 8. The Peugeot 5008. While France's car manufacturing industry may not be too highly regarded outside of Europe, the country's iconic Peugeot brand is easily one of the most recognizable across the continent. As a result, it shouldn't be a surprise that Emmanuel Macron drives a vehicle made by this manufacturer, and his custom-made Peugeot 5008 is nothing short of impressive. Built with the help of Centagon Security Group, the Special 5008 gets features not seen in any other cars in its class, with these including add-ons such as armor plating, a one-off second-row seating package, upgraded brakes, emergency lights and sirens, and the presidential seal. It's also been deemed to almost be completely blast-proof and bulletproof, with a special safe even being installed in the vehicle in order to keep Macron's documents safe during potential attacks. And when you consider that it takes about 1,500 parts and a grand total of 3,000 workers to make just one rendition of this car, we'd say it's safe that not much could hamper this one-of-a-kind vehicle. Number 7. The Putin-Mobile. Vladimir Putin is easily one of the world's most notorious leaders, and thus it shouldn't come as a surprise that he has a presidential car with several seriously cool bells and whistles. Known as the RS Senat, it was made by NAMI, which is Russia's car researching department, and was first presented to him at his 4th inauguration. Now, in terms of its specs, it has a 598 horsepower 4.4-liter V8 engine with a 9-speed automatic transmission, which allows it to accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 6 seconds. It's also 6.7 meters long, weighs in at a colossal 7,200 kilograms, with its weight being so large primarily thanks to its armor plating and 6-centimeter thick bulletproof windows. It also sports run-flat tires that work even if punctured, an air compression system to resist gas attacks, a TV entertainment system to keep the president occupied, and an emergency rear exit if things really get messy. All in all, it has the features that any high-profile person could ever ask for. Yet while this car may be the property of the Russian president, you can quite easily get an unarmored version of your own. However, at a cost of about $160,000, it's certainly on the expensive side, with additional security add-ons being even more costly if you choose to have them included. However, it certainly is a secure car, so if you're looking for a top-of-the-line protection and luxury in one package, then you can't go wrong with the RS Senat. Number 6. The Ropemobile. While Pope Francis may not be a politician, many forget that he does in fact lead a country of his own. After all, he is the head of state in the Vatican City and also leads the 1.2 billion person strong Roman Catholic Church. As a result, it should come as no surprise that Pope Francis needs a special vehicle to keep him safe, and thus has the privilege to ride in a famous car known as the Ropemobile. And while many luxurious iterations of it have existed in the past, the current Pope likes to keep things fresh. That's because while many past popes have traveled in luxury from place to place, Pope Francis has chosen to go the more simpler route. You see, rather than spend big bucks on a fancy white car, he is content to go with more simple models, and has been seen in a Ford Focus, Fiat 500L, Jeep Wrangler, and more often than not, in a 1984 Renault 4. This makes sense for a simple man like Pope Francis, as he never had a history of going about in luxury. In fact, this is so much so that he would apparently take public transit when he was a cardinal. And even when he was elected Pope, he chose to travel back to his hotel with the rest of the cardinals in a minibus, rather than take the papal limo. And while this simplicity may put him at a bit of a risk, after all, these less high-tech cars seldom have as many safe features, it nonetheless sets him apart from all the other leaders on this list. Number 5. The S600 Mercedes-Maybach. When you think of North Korea, things such as food shortages, labor camps, human rights abuses, and extreme poverty probably come to mind. And unsurprisingly, these terrible things have all led to North Korea being heavily sanctioned by the rest of the world, as they refuse to trade with countries largely due to its authoritarian regime. Yet despite this, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un somehow managed to get his hands on an armored S600 Mercedes-Maybach limo. Now, put simply, this car is absolutely incredible. After all, not only does it have a sleek look, but it also comes fully equipped with things like two-way radios, external communications, flashing lamps, and sirens. Yet the more pressing question that many have asked is how such a high-quality foreign vehicle entered the country. Now, Mercedes itself denied selling the vehicle to the supreme leader, as they run an extensive background check on anyone buying their armored cars. And while such a claim may be suspect, the American Center for Advanced Defense Studies certified this info as being correct, and then began a thorough investigation into the matter. Interestingly enough, it turns out that an unarmored version of the car first arrived in the Netherlands in June of 2018, where it was then shipped to China, Japan, South Korea, and Russia, before secretly being shipped to North Korea in October of that year. Once it arrived, it was likely outfitted with armor and made to Kim Jong-un's specifications, and then began to see regular use soon afterwards. As such, while this vehicle is certainly impressive, it took quite a while for it to reach its final destination. Number 4. Queen Elizabeth's car collection. While Boris Johnson may have an impressive ride to bomb around Britain in, the Queen's car collection can more than match him. That's because the royal family has access to a fleet of cars that are fit for the best of the best, with these including 3 Rolls-Royces, 3 Daimlers, and 2 Bentleys, all of which are kept in the Royal Mews at Buckingham Palace. Now, of all of them, the 2 Bentleys are by far the most impressive. Custom made for the Queen, they measure in at 6.2 meters long and have a unique monocoque construction that increases the strength of the vehicle. Rear doors that are hinged at the back to allow the Queen to stand up straight before stepping out, and a strong 6.7-liter twin-turbo V8. This is then complemented by an extremely comfy riding experience, as the rear seats come with Heil Lamb's wool sateen cloth, while the rest of the interior is made of a light gray Connolly leather hide. To top this off, both Bentleys are also fitted with a unique removable roof covering, which gives the Queen a way in which to wave out to her adoring fans. Yet that's not to say the other cars in the fleet aren't as impressive as well. For example, the Queen is known to have an affinity for Land Rovers, and reportedly often uses the Defender models on hunting parties. She also sometimes drives in a Bentley Bentayga, which is an extremely elegant and easily one of the most expensive SUVs in the world, at a base price of about $225,000. Yet the most expensive car in the fleet is the Aston Martin Volante DB6 that Queen Elizabeth bought for Prince Charles on his 21st birthday, which is not only a rare vintage model, but also runs on wine-based bioethanol. As such, it goes without saying that the Queen's royal car collection is simply incredible. Number 3. Air Force One. The President of the United States typically has to visit multiple countries during their term, and thus he needs an airplane that is both sophisticated and secure in order to get the job done. And while Air Force One can technically refer to any plane that the President flies in, the title is most often designated to one of 2 very highly customized Boeing 747-200B series aircraft. Now, these aircraft are perhaps best known for having virtually an unlimited range, as they have the remarkable ability of being able to be refueled mid-air. The 2 planes are also extremely secure, as they have onboard electronics that protect against electromagnetic pulses and coded communications equipment that allow the aircraft to function as a mobile command center in the event of an attack on the United States. Yet besides the intense security, the plane is also extremely luxurious. That's because the inside of each is composed of about 370 square meters of floor space, spread across 3 stories, with this including an extensive suite for the president that features a large office, bathroom, and a conference room. Air Force One also includes a medical suite that can function as an operating room, and a doctor is permanently on board in order to serve the needs for all on board. If the plane's visitors get hungry, they can rely on Air Force One's 2 food preparation galleys, which have the capacity to feed 100 people at any given time. Best of all, when you consider that the plane has separate quarters for the president's advisors and a detachment of cargo planes to provide the president with everything he could ever need, it becomes clear that this plane is the epitome of luxury. Number 2. Marine One. When traveling between cities, sometimes a car isn't all that practical. After all, American presidents typically need to have a large motorcade around them, and in all honesty, it's often easier and less expensive to simply let the president travel by air. As a result, a helicopter that goes by the codename Marine One is often used to transport the president from place to place, with a helicopter by the codename of Marine Two often being used in the same capacity for the vice president. Now, technically speaking, any aircraft carrying the president or vice president can get their Marine codenames. However, the helicopter in question are typically the HMX-1 Nighthawks, which consist of either a large Sikorsky VH-3D Sea King helicopter or the newer, smaller VH-60N Whitehawk helicopters. In either case, there are usually as many as 5 helicopters used, as all the ones not carrying the president will typically act as decoys, shuffling around with the presidential helicopter in order to obscure which one he's truly in. Yet the security measures don't stop there. That's because Marine One is also equipped with anti-missile countermeasures, such as flares to counter heat-seeking missiles, chaff to counter radar-guided missiles, and an AN/ALQ-144A infrared jammer in order to protect against infrared missiles. In addition to this, every member of HMX-1 is required to pass a specialized Yankee White background check before touching any of the helicopters used for presidential travel, ensuring that both the helicopter's equipment and the president himself cannot be tampered with. When considered in tandem, it is these countermeasures that ensure the presidential flight from place to place is as safe as possible. Number 1. The Beast. The President of the United States is easily one of the most influential people in the world. Therefore, it shouldn't come as a surprise that he is transported by a top-of-the-line vehicle. Nicknamed the Beast, the presidential limousine is made to look like a Cadillac, but outside of its headlamps, tail lamps, and the grille design, the car is far from your typical Caddy. You see, the Beast takes things up a notch by sporting a chassis, diesel engine, and transmission that are similar to those that used on GM heavy-duty commercial vehicles. As a result, the Beast comes in at a whopping 9,000 kilograms, has a max speed of just 100 kilometers an hour, and an efficiency of about 3.4 kilometers per liter. However, outside of its rather poor specs, the Beast is by all accounts a world-class vehicle. For example, the car's doors are reportedly 20 centimeters thick and weigh as much as the doors found on a Boeing 787 airplane, meaning that they are nearly impenetrable against outside threats. This security is reinforced by the car windows, which are bulletproof and about 13 centimeters thick, and the underbody, which is made out of a reinforced steel plate that can fend off roadside bombs. The tires are reportedly run flats made from super high-strength Kevlar, which means that they function even after being punctured. Interestingly enough, the car's protection even extends to its interior, as if faced with a chemical attack, the inside of the car can be completely contained, and the fuel tank can surround itself with a special foam material in order to insulate it from outside threats. And if the president ever gets in a really messy situation, the trunk of the car is fully stocked with tear gas canisters, shotguns, grenade launchers, oxygen tanks, night vision cameras, and a cache of the president's blood type. In other words, the car really is ready for anything. Yet it's also important to note that the Beast has its own fair share of problems. That's because despite being as tough as it is, it's notoriously difficult to drive and is prone to breaking down. As a result, it's only ever released on rare occasions that require added security. Watch our Vehicles playlist for more top 15 videos about amazing vehicles. Sit back, relax, and binge watch all of our best vehicle videos.